Buckets. That's the name of my boat. Buckets.
Buckets. What we get.
Not the only transfer we got from Florida. Keith Stone, too. Remember that.
Everybody who watches his show on a regular basis knows my love of the stretch four.
You know, we all make mistakes. You might have made one going to Tallahassee.
Mercy if y'all don't know. Dribble to the left, cross over to the right. Hurricane to the game, many buckets for the night. Matt with the pick and roll, Melissa with the give and go. This Shelly-oo, hoodie girl dunking in the hole. Check the scoreboard, this what we fall for. Beat the gameplay, they want an encore. Yeah, overtime for another round. It's buckets out the buckets, baby. You out of time. It's buckets. What it is, homie, it's buckets. Woo! We get buckets. Yeah, baby, buckets.
I have no shame.
I know. That's the problem.
You guys are awesome.
What up, everyone? Welcome to a long-awaited episode of Buckets. It's been a while. I don't think I've been on the show in a few weeks. Matt is busy coaching. Go Barons. But me and Vish are here. What's up, Vish?
Nothing much. Actually, get to talk about a win for the first time in feels like forever, so that's nice.
Yeah,
for the
some
men.
wins for both teams, which is good. I have another new background. Changed it up a little bit. So sorry if you hear beeps in the background. Miami Heat news got people talking, people messaging me. But just because Matt's not here, Tyler Hero is an all-star. I know it's Matt's favorite player. Good stuff. So if you've been living under a rock or kind of just gave up, the men's basketball team actually won a game, a power conference game, not even an ACC game. I mean, it was an ACC game, but just to encompass everything, we have won a power conference matchup. We beat Notre Dame, which actually, you know what? It's kind of nice, you know, that it was Notre Dame, you know, a big football rival. Thank you, Canes Cats Heat, for showing up to a game and us winning. So I went and watched the second half of the game. They won 63-57. The fact that Notre Dame could only score 57 points against what our defense consists of is pretty pathetic. But I did go back and watch the second half today. And I know Vish, did you watch the condensed highlights?
I did, and then I watched some selected clips as well. I'm the opposite of Canes Cats Heat. I feel like I watched every single one of these games in person or on TV for the last year, and then that was the one I missed.
It's because if I'm at work or something, Vish is always the one on the Twitter on Buckets_Canes following the game live, and we had no one available Saturday night for it. So I think it's the first game Vish has missed altogether as far as the men's team is concerned.
I think it's the first game I've missed since I got COVID last February and couldn't show up to the Virginia Tech game that we won, which was the last
game we won.
I'm pretty sure I've watched every single.
It was almost 365 days. Our last win was on February 3rd of 2024, and we won that game on February 1st.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was either at or.
Shout out to my bro! Happy belated birthday. His birthday was the 1st, so the Canes got a win for him. Good stuff.
I'm sure he was very pleased by that. That really made his birthday.
He was in Spain on vacation. He didn't care.
I was being sarcastic. He wouldn't care anyway, but
he would not.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I was.
And the Heat got a win. Lovely, love it. Good stuff. It's a good day. It's a good day to be a Heat fan.
So we're not talking about the NBA. I will boot you out of the stream.
Right. It just popped up on my notifications. So.
It's gonna be too soon forever.
Vish is a Mavs fan, so we can all have a moment of silence.
Yeah, that was the other thing that happened on Saturday night. So
I got Vish a Luka Doncic jersey for Christmas, so I'm just as I'm not just as upset, but I'm pretty upset too.
Yeah, no, that was a good Friday night. I was trying to get some rest. That didn't happen.
The tags are probably still on the jersey.
Yeah, I don't think I took them off. Maybe you can get your money back. I doubt it. It's a discount item. It's like when you go to the Heat store now, see a Jimmy Butler jersey. It's like 90% off. I wonder why.
Yeah, my Jimmy Butler Heat merch is already in my LeBron James Heat merch box. So
I'll donate a Luka to the club. Although it's not him.
No,
maybe I should just. I know he didn't do it.
I also got you a Real Madrid jersey, so at least you can still rep one.
Yeah, and then with no name on it, so it's good forever.
It's good. It's good forever. Yeah, it's good forever. Anyway, but yes, so the men won 63-57. I did not watch the first half. We were down 11 at halftime. I think Notre Dame's biggest lead was 13. A few minutes into the second half.
Yeah, about 5 minutes in.
Yeah. And then we made a bit of a run off of good shooting, and Notre Dame just shooting incredibly bad because we gave them a ton of open threes that they missed a lot of, and apparently are really bad free throw shooters. But let's talk about good things because it is a win. So we'll talk about a couple of good things. I don't think there's any argument at this point that Matthew Cleveland is the best player on this team. I do get a little frustrated sometimes watching, and the announcers have mentioned it too in the second half. I don't think he demands the ball enough. I think our offense should be running through him. He's our best player. I also, besides him, I also liked Lynn Kidd's performance. When he had the ball in the post, I thought he was very decisive. He tends to hesitate a lot or take really shitty shots. So I like that.
Well,
Brandon Johnson played the entire game, never sat. He did go 3 of 6 from 3, so I'll take 50% from him. And I didn't say like, oh shit, why are you doing that, Brandon Johnson, while watching the second half. So he had a decent game. Any good things for you, Vish, besides the fact that we won?
Well, I mean, I don't think that's fair. I think Matthew Cleveland in multiple games have scored like half the points for the team. He can't shoot every time down. And also, look, how do I put this nicely? He's surrounded by players that, maybe need more seasoning, is a nice way of putting it.
Even though most of them are seniors?
Well, at this point, not really, right? We're playing, Schwartz, Divine, and Jaleel are getting a lot of minutes. So at this point, not necessarily. But yeah, even the seniors aren't necessarily. You mentioned Lynn Kidd's decisiveness. I think one thing that helped him in this game is Notre Dame didn't double for whatever reason, which has basically turned into an automatic turnover when other teams have done it. But they chose not to do that. And as we saw earlier in there, as we know, and we saw when he was at Virginia Tech as well, if you try to cover Lynn Kidd one-on-one, he's very skilled in the post. He can score, which is why teams double him because he's not a great passer. He hesitates when he gets doubled. Those are some of his weaknesses. So if you're going to play him one-on-one, that's a good matchup for the Canes really against anyone. But yeah, no. So I don't know that necessarily we're running. I don't know how it's Matthew Cleveland's fault that
there were some possessions late where he didn't even touch the ball, and I just feel like
but he's not the point guard.
Close.
He's not the point guard or a primary ball handler at all, right? It's the other guys handling the ball. So again, when there are a lot of the coach quit. We have a head coach right now who no one, other than some weird gambling odds a month ago, thinks should be a head coach here. So you're going to have these situations where you don't get into sets correctly. You don't drop plays necessarily correctly, and stuff is just not smooth. And for a small forward someone's got to get him the ball in a spot for him to do something with it. He's not a point forward. He's not going to be able to get the ball without cooperation from his teammates. So, and frankly, the team is so uncohesive that it's hard for that to happen, period, for really any of these players. So I don't know. I have zero problems with anything he has done this year. He even came off the bench and played well. He got benched. That Cal game, I think that was the one, right, where he wasn't starting for some reason. What the hell is this?
It was a game where he barely played the second half.
Yeah, no, but he didn't start the Cal game, the one where he hit the shot, the buzzer to force overtime. Like no one explained why. He just didn't start, and it's just he's played through all of that and kept his head down and continued to perform while everything kind of fell apart around him.
He deserves better, and I feel like he takes a lot of the brunt of us being bad because he transferred from FSU. Like, it's his fault. He's playing the best basketball on the team.
I mean, he is elevating above a sea of shit.
Yeah,
so,
he played 38 minutes.
He played 38 minutes. He's the best player on the team by a mile. Yeah, other positive mention Lynn Kidd. I mean, Brandon Johnson. Look, we were kind of joking about it, kind of serious on the show. Like the fact that he didn't make a 3-pointer in ACC play from his first 25 attempts or whatever. Like, I don't think he's on this level. He's that good of a shooter. He came in as someone that was supposed to be able to be a knockdown 3-point shooter. He's not that, but he's also not 0 for 25 bad. So his regressing more towards what his average should be is going to result in the ball going in a lot. And it has the last few games. So he's really been shooting the ball well. And again, for the year, it'll probably average out to what he is, which is like a 25-ish% 3-point shooter in the ACC, which is not good. But if you take all the 0 for 20 whatever up front, then, to get it to 25% from there, we're going to get a lot of balls going in the basket. So that is what we're seeing. So he's shooting well. I think I will say, since the Stanford game, the effort has been there. I haven't seen any of our players not trying. We're not gonna, and I know that's like a low bar, but if you saw the SMU game, it was disgusting. And then followed that up, the Stanford game was just as bad. That game was over 5 minutes in. And so, we obviously have lost every game at Notre Dame, but I would say the last few weeks, there's been total team effort on a team where, frankly, the coach quit. Why shouldn't the players? And they haven't. So that's good to see that they're still, playing hard. They were clearly genuinely happy when the clock ticked down and they won that game.
Like they were about to celebrate a championship.
Well, I mean,
when you lose that many games in a row.
Yeah, and it did feel like, look, even within that game, I did again, I wasn't able to watch. I was trying to get some rest, but I checked the score at halftime or down. I'm like, well, this is over. So I don't think they really thought they would win. Yes, there's 5 on the floor also on this channel, probably in the feature slot. I'm assuming Ethan stuck it in there. So yeah, that's going right now as well if you want to check out the Heat coverage. So we yeah, no, it's good to see, and again, they are working hard. They're not going to magically become a good basketball team. So it is what it is at this point. And I think
next. Can we go on a 2-game winning streak?
No, but I'll tell you who we're playing next. We are at Louisville on Saturday. For context, Louisville is 10-2 in conference, 17-6 overall.
Yeah, I know.
But also, look. So, you meant look. We knew. Look, on paper. We're not the show that lies to viewers. We're the worst team in the conference. It's not even particularly close. But over the course of how many conference games are playing this year? 20. You're going to get those nights where the other team doesn't shoot well, where they don't execute. Just like you get the look, as bad as much as I'll flatly, bluntly, and actually, Michelle Kaufman said this right to Bill Courtney's face after that SMU game when he did his media availability on that Monday. Your team quit, right? We saw that, but also SMU's not that good. They were that day. So you get those swings. Every team has their good days and their bad days. So it was always going to take a team having a bad day, us playing relatively well.
And the refs tried to give Notre Dame the game at the end.
That's a whole other thing. But we knew the way we were going to win the game was going to have to involve the other team also not playing well. And you mentioned it. It felt like when they made 3 passes in a row, they got a dunk every time, and they stopped doing that. So
we had defensive possessions where Notre Dame got 2-3 offensive rebounds and couldn't make a shot. There was a point we were up 4 after Divine made 1 of 2 free throws with 30 seconds left, where they called a foul on Matthew Cleveland on a 3-point shooter. I rewinded that 3-4 times to see where the contact was. Even the announcers were like, "What is going on?" like they tried to give them a free 3 points when we were up 4 with 30 seconds left. Luckily, Notre Dame couldn't make a free throw to save their life, and the guy missed all 3. There was multiple possessions in the second half where they called the ball out of bounds on us, and it was very clearly off Notre Dame. So we won despite the officiating. It just helped that Notre Dame couldn't make an open 3 to save their life.
I think the so I think the so the thing like the fouling and the you know, that's where I'm talking about, where we knew we were gonna have to get some breaks. So actually, yes, it was a terrible call on Matthew Clinton to even come close to touching him, but because the dude missed all 3 free throws, we actually, because we were out of timeouts, we got to set up, get our free throw shooters out there to inbound, make sure we can inbound the ball correctly, because Lord knows our while he was bricking free throws, we were able to kind of settle everything and make sure we had everything set to kind of retain the ball. Whereas if he had just missed it, it would have, you know, they could have probably gotten a rebound the way we were rebounding, maybe put it back in and still been hanging in the game. So, you know, we needed one of those games where we just caught some breaks. So it was a terrible call, like you said, but because they missed all 3 free throws, actually better than just not calling the foul. So that's how we end up, you know, that those are the breaks that we weren't getting. Because that Cal game we easily could have won, right? I mean, that was an overtime game. We just didn't get any breaks, or nothing really went our way. We also didn't get a stop for their last 27 points, but that's a whole other thing.
I think we ended the game on a 6-0 run, because it was like 50. It was like tied, and then Divine made a free throw, or someone made a free throw, or I don't know what happened.
It was tied at 57. And yeah, Lynn Kidd made 1 or 2 free throws with 3:21 left.
Someone, yeah,
they didn't score the last 3:40, and it wasn't because they weren't getting looks.
No. So, and they were missing wide open threes. So that
and again, that's what we needed, because we actually didn't really. I mean, Lynn Kidd made a basket, and that was the only basket we made the last 4 minutes. Also, he made 1 or 2 free throws. Divine made 1 or 2 free throws. Matthew made the 2 at the end, and we were already up 4. Yeah. So I mean, that it wasn't a work of art to close the game out, but it was a win. And again,
we're 9 of 15 for 21 points and 7 boards. Brandon Johnson, 4 of 10, 3 of 6 from 3, 8 boards. Lynn Kidd, 7 of 9, 4 rebounds.
Right, and any sort of win was gonna take. Any sort of win was going to take cooperation from the opponent.
Yeah.
If any team plays their medium game, that's better than our best game. So we needed abhorrent free throw shooting for Notre Dame. We needed them to miss wide open jumpers. And they did. And eventually, if you play enough games, which we do in conference, that's going to happen once, or at least once. Took advantage of it, got out there with a win. I wouldn't read much more into it than that. Like, it was not not a work of art.
And a big thing in that second half is Notre Dame went 0 of 5 from the free throw line.
Right, and again, that's nothing to do with us. But we took advantage. And
well, the fact is they only went to the free throw line twice, because 3 of those misses are at the end. So they only got to the line 1 other time. So they were only 2 of 9 total, so they weren't getting to the line a lot, which is helpful, because, you know, that's like easy points, but except for them. We were 13-17 from the free throw line. So
yeah, and I mean, let's be real, scoring 57 points on our team is pretty abhorrent on their part. And it wasn't like, wow, we figured out how to play. I mean, they were just missing open shots.
They only had 21 points.
They also, I don't know what, they started like passing on all these open shots underneath and trying to kick it. I'm like, you could just dunk that. Oh well. Because again, we don't really handle any kind of movement on the offense well. We tend to lose guys, give up open threes sometimes.
No, they were still getting open looks, and they were missing.
Which again,
had a few possessions here and there where I thought we played good defense and caused some turnovers and bad shots. But
Divine had a couple of steals too that led straight to buckets. Because frankly, like, this was not, you know, one of our better offensive games. We can play better offensively than this. Which we've done
halves like that.
Yeah, which we've done multiple times. So we got away with it because they just couldn't score. Which again, we need to happen to get a win. It was going to take it was going to be a team effort and the other team's effort as well, and we got all that at once. Yeah, I don't know that. So let's the remaining schedule is at Louisville, Syracuse, at Pitt, at Florida State, Virginia Tech, Duke, at Carolina, at Georgia Tech, NC State.
We gotta win.
Do you see another one, Melissa?
We got one. I'm really happy. I really thought we were going to play.
What do you plead the Fifth Amendment here? Do you see another one? Damn it!
I'm not gonna lie. This season's been over for me for so long that I've been following the women a lot more. I mean, I'm still rooting for the guys, and I'm really happy we got to win. But
so is that I'm a yes or no question? Damn it!
Listen, you never know.
Yes or no?
I checked the score at half and saw we were down 11 and assumed we were going to lose by 25. So when I got the notification that we won, I was shocked. I remember I texted you and Matt. I was like, guys, we won.
Yeah, you texted me and I was like, damn, I was trying to sleep. What happened? And I looked at that and then like an hour later.
Speaking of Vish trying to sleep, he ran his first full marathon this past weekend. So
yeah,
everyone,
that was something.
Send him some congrats on Twitter. Good
stuff. I survived and everything.
Ran the Miami marathon.
Yeah, you did that, and then like an hour and a half later, sent me something else, which I really didn't need to see. Although it might have been worse if I worked up in the morning.
Silent.
Huh?
Why don't you just put your phone on silent?
My phone's never on silent.
Well, then don't complain about getting woken up.
I was like half. It's one of those things where you're not really, when you need to sleep, but you can't sleep.
Vish has like a 9 to 5 type job where he has to be up at like 7 in the morning, but I work nights, so I'm up late, and Matt lives on the West Coast. So like I'll text Matt at like 1 a.m. because I'm awake, and it's earlier there, so we chit chat back and forth, and so eventually Vish gets woken up because he doesn't put his phone on silent.
Well, I'm usually not asleep, but also 9 to 5. When the hell did that happen?
Whatever. You work a day job. I don't know what your actual hours are.
I work a day into night job. I work a job I don't have hours. I'm just freaking working all the time.
It's just always working.
I was working right before you stood up going backstage. I was like, all right, let's finish this thing up. Then I'll finish the rest of this later.
Shout out to Vish for hanging these up for me.
Yes, she's got her diploma's proof. The proof is on the wall now.
Proof. We got them to fit because this is already screwed into the wall. The board.
By the way, this entire tangent did not make me forget that you never answered the question. Do you think the Canes will win another game this year? Yes or no?
I do.
All right. I'm gonna go with no. Just because I'm looking. No. I mean, I'm looking at.
I'm just trying to be hopeful.
I'm not even trying to be hopeful or not hopeful.
I'm glad we have this week off and we don't play again until Saturday because we're able to enjoy it for a full week.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the schedule's actually kind of hard now.
Yeah,
I know we almost beat Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech, but they're actually like 500 in conference. Where there's no way in hell we're beating Duke, for example. I mean, I think it's gonna be really hard for us to win a road game. So there's only a couple of chances there. Then Syracuse, NC State. I don't know. And if you're wondering, the ACC tournament.
We're not making the ACC tournament.
Just understood. I like how you answered the question I didn't ask and then I had to ask the other question 50 times. But you've been missed on this show. I said you've been missed on this show. Just for awareness, the last team in the tournament right now is Syracuse. They're 4-8 in conference. So you need to get to at least 4 wins, probably more, because that means that they're not going to win another game. So that would be 3 more wins, which yeah, no, I know. I'm just look.
Look at Kenny Podgy. Look at him over there.
Yeah, he's not making it either. So
he won the ACC tournament. So
yes, single-handedly. Anyway,
but he was a part of the ACC.
So if the Canes would obviously have to beat Syracuse next Tuesday, February 11th, have any, and then I don't know where 2 more wins and Syracuse going winless the rest of the way is what it would take.
Julian Gamble posted something about Canes basketball, and I on his Instagram, and I did ask him if he had any eligibility left, and he laughed at me.
I mean, can he coach
I don't know that he knows that it's me from the show. He probably doesn't, but he thought it was funny.
Yeah, I don't. I can tell you right now, none of that will help.
I know it was just a joke because I
No,
was
but
sad. At that point, I think we had lost like like 9 games in a row. I don't know.
the program be broken.
Well, we'll see. We'll have a lot of speculation in the offseason about who the coach is going to be and how they're going to completely rebuild the team.
I know it's going to be 12 new players also.
We're gonna have funny enough, although kind of sad, we're gonna have more off-season content than in-season content based on how the season's going.
The
women are gonna be in a similar situation because we're gonna have most of our team is seniors. Also, I mean, we're not getting a new coach, obviously, but like.
No, I mean the women we have a little bit more. I mean, we don't know if anyone's going to transfer, but we kind of know, Leah Harmon and Nate Adams.
Aurora Almon.
Yeah, Simone is still here. I mean, she hasn't played, but I'm assuming
got another year.
Yeah, so and then we have 5 freshmen coming in that we know are like elite. So there's not going to be that many.
Camille Williams, not to be confused with Cam Williams, currently on the team. That would have been
there's actually going to be only a couple of new players actually, because between the 5 freshmen and the returning players, there's not that many spots.
Camille Williams tape though.
Yes, I know. Friend of the show ish follows us.
I think she had her signing day today. I think she like officially signed because I saw a bunch of pictures.
Today was National Signing Day.
Yeah, so decked out in a Miami shirt and stuff. So Trisha can recruit.
Yeah. But anyway, as Melissa said, the men take the court at Louisville Saturday at 2 p.m. Louisville again is second place in the ACC, and that's going to be a tough one.
They were really bad last year, and they beat us, which was kind of the beginning of the end. And now they're really good this year, so I'm hoping that we can have some sort of. It doesn't even have to be that kind of turnaround, just like winning a few more games turnaround next season. I don't know.
I think. I don't think anything we do the rest of the way is going to tangibly affect.
No, it's just based off who we hire as the head coach and the players he brings in. Like, can it get worse? I hope not.
We're pretty much no. I don't think it can.
I mean, we said that after last season.
No, but I mean, again, last season. We started off well. We obviously the Colorado game and the Kentucky game were not good. The Colorado game especially.
Except we got good.
Yeah, the trip was fine. The game, talking about the on court, but then after that we did go win the Bahamas tournament easily, and there were power conference schools there, and the aforementioned last ACC win we had put us right into the tournament in every projection. And so the bottom fell out. So it can clear that it's hard to get worse than 1 conference win and 5 overall wins for a season. So I think we are pretty much at rock bottom. So nowhere to go but up. So yeah, there will be off season. We've got a lot of in season content too. The 3-0 start, the getting votes in the top 25 poll heading to Charleston. To within a month,
Coach L quitting. Win the Charleston tournament because the 3 teams we were slated to play are not as good as us. And
well, we were favored by everyone. Again, every time we do this stupid, weren't we picked to finish 3rd in the ACC? What was our this year, right?
No, we were picked to finish 4th.
Whatever it was, come on, as much as we can call ourselves homers, last year we were picked to finish 2nd, I believe. Mm-hmm. Behind Carolina, it's not just us doing it. Going into that Charleston tournament, we were heavy favorites to win it by the gambling, by the predictions. We were getting votes in the rankings, and then, a month later, Coach O quit. So we've had season content. It's been a wild season, but we've had in-season content. So anyway.
It's crazy. Within a span of 6 months, both coaches retired.
Yep, both coaches retired.
These photos are ancient. They're antiques now.
Both coaches retired. I've gone blurry on the camera for some reason.
Your camera's having a stroke again. It does sound like once a stream at this point.
Yeah, well, I'll be back in DC, so different equipment. That didn't work. Hold on.
Well, Vish fixes his camera. Can we talk about you're doing a baseball show from the team store this weekend? Before we move on.
Yeah. We got Canes on deck. CCH, you should be happy to hear this. 11 a.m. Saturday, we're going to do a season preview from the team store. If you're not able to stop by the team, definitely stop by the team store, say hello. If you're not able to stop by the team store, it'll be streaming on this YouTube channel, and we got a couple of players stopping by as well. So Todd Hudson and Jackson Cleveland are going to stop by and join the show.
To Matthew Cleveland.
You can't no relation a random name. What are you doing? That ruined the joke. I was like, no one's named Brown. What the hell's going on here?
Baseball season's kicking off, and you know what that means? Milkshakes. Vish, your camera's still blurry.
I know. I don't know what to do with it, to be honest. Let me. I tried. I mean, I can stop the camera and restart it and see if that does anything.
Oh.
Almost like it made it worse.
It's not your eyes. Vish's camera is just blurry, and now he's just not there. No, come back.
I mean, I'm always here, so the show can't run without me being here. Just so we're aware. I don't understand. It's like really bad. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
What if I take it out of HD and then put it back in?
Oh, hello there. Okay.
All right. That actually worked. All right, that's good.
Good
to know.
There you go. Alrighty, let's move on to the women. The women, when was the last time on the show? Since the last time I've been on the show, I think we've won 2 games and lost 1 game.
It's more than that. You haven't been on this show.
Well, I was supposed to be on the show last week, but I
got sick.
Flu. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming it was the flu because it flu A is running.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see the last time you were actually on the show. After we lost to Syracuse, I know we were texting during that, but I think you were at work, so I don't think we did a show there. Boston College, I was at that game by myself.
My coworker was on vacation, so I just worked like a ton of shifts.
When is the last time you did a show? Because I think we've lost and won several times.
I apologize to the Buckets viewers for me not being on a show in like the last 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, no, because I know you definitely weren't on.
It was before I had the diplomas up.
God, wait,
so it's been a while.
Wait, when I hung those, we went to a game.
Did we?
Yeah, it was a men's game.
Yeah, because we had Shake Shack after.
Yeah, but it wasn't a game where we got necessarily killed, I don't think. Wake Forest. And that was January.
When did we do a show before that though? Because
that was January 11th.
So it's been almost a month.
Yeah, so you missed at the very least. Loss at Syracuse, lost to Boston College at home, loss at Florida State, loss at Clemson, a win over SMU, win over Virginia, and lost to Georgia Tech.
But there was 2 wins.
Loss to Georgia Tech was the recent one.
There was 2 wins for the women.
Yes, so. and I did do a show from the Watt after the Virginia one, a quick hitter there.
My work schedule was not kind to me being able to do shows post game.
Yeah, unfortunately, the women play on Sunday and you have Saturdays off, so it's not great.
Yeah, and I work every other Sunday, and I'm obviously off this Sunday because it's Super Bowl Sunday because that's like a holiday for me. But I may be at the women's Notre Dame game by myself. It seems like because Vish has a work thing, so that's sad.
Yeah, looks like I'll be out of town.
But I gotta go to that. I mean, I want to support the women, but I kind of want to see Hannah Hidalgo play in person.
And technically, I guess I'm out of town right now, but I'll be the 3rd city. Anyway, so what are your thoughts on the women since you haven't talked about them on air for the last month?
I'm kind of frustrated. And it's mainly because a lot of those losses, maybe not the Georgia Tech game, but some of those other losses. I feel like we were right there and had a chance to close out the game and win, and we're just not good at closing out games. We've had leads that we've blown in some games. We've given up. We've had to come back and just fall short. I do like the mismatch of not having Cam and Nat on the floor, like starting and like I'm kind of like and starting Darion because she spreads the floor a bit. She's a bucket, man. Her shot's crazy. But yeah, it's kind of frustrating because I feel like we have the pieces and we just can't finish. I'm really bummed that Abby's has been out for so long because I feel like she would have been really helpful in some of these games in the post, just with her athleticism. Haley, I think, is in the running for all ACC first team. She continues to be.
She's fourth in the ACC in scoring.
In scoring, yeah. So it's just there's so many good guards in the ACC. So, but I mean, it was nice to get those 2 wins. I did not see the Georgia Tech game. I know we were kind of within 5-6 points pretty much the whole game until like the very, very end. And Georgia Tech's a really good team. I would love to see us get a win in these upcoming games. Like our next 4 games are against ranked teams. I don't.
Yeah, we'll talk to the schedule.
We're not beating Notre Dame. But I feel like we have gotten better. A lot of our losses, I mean, there have been some blowout losses to some really good teams, but a lot of our other losses to teams that I feel like are on our same level, I feel like we could have won and we kind of beat ourselves. So I think there's more potential. I think we could be better. And hopefully we kind of see that in these last few weeks of the season. And hopefully we make the ACC tournament because we're definitely right there to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, I mean, blowing leads has been a problem. The Clemson game was just abhorrent. You can't blow a 13-point lead going into the. You just can't do that. Yeah. And did it so quickly. I just let it happen, kind of. And then, you know, Virginia Tech and Boston College essentially had one player just repeatedly making threes, and we didn't bother to cover her. Because both were similar scripts. So those types of things are kind of, when you say frustrated, those are the ones where you're like, come on. And then losing to Syracuse, period, is just.
Because this isn't like a thing of like, it's not like the men's team where we're just terrible. Like the team, we have a lot of talent on this team. And we're right there in a lot of these games. We should not have lost to Syracuse. They're like one of the worst.
They're abhorrently bad. And that you can't do that type of thing.
Yeah, so that's kind of frustrating. I'm hoping, I don't know if that's like getting used to being in the power conference and also having like a completely new team with like everybody's like pretty much transferred in. Like we only had like 2 players that played last year on the team. So getting that chemistry, I mean, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, how come we're not ranked after we finished non-conference play? There's a reason. Our non-conference wasn't that strong. And it was definitely concerning. We gave up leads against Florida. We still managed to win. We had to go to overtime against Quinnipiac. So, yeah. I mean,
the SMU game, we were up 18
yeah.
with 7 minutes left in the game, and they cut to 3. We had to rally to like hold off their own and pull that game out. So,
Quinnipiac, we actually gave up. We were up like 15-18, and we actually were down. And Haley made a 3-pointer to tie it to even take us to overtime.
Yeah, otherwise that'd be another one. And
me and Vish have talked about this, like texting about games. I don't think we call timeout soon enough during other teams' runs. I feel like maybe we let it go a little too long. And maybe I'm not a coach. I think Coach Cullop is doing a great job, but like I'm just curious, or like substitutions and keeping certain players on the floor where it's not working. Whether we need to go smaller because we need to be more athletic versus maybe we need to put 2 bigs in and making those adjustments. Those 2 wins, I felt like maybe we did a little bit better with that, but there's just little thing. But we can sit here and nitpick, but.
Well, I mean, we're 3 and 8 in conference. It's not really nitpicking to say we should be better than that. I will say one of the complexities with, and I agree with everything you said. Yeah, I do think we've let, especially like that Clemson game. I mean, it went from, I think it was 15 at one point in the fourth quarter to 2 points before we called the timeout. Like that's waiting way too long. You got to stop that run. But the one complexity with calling timeouts in women's basketball, it's like the NBA in that you can move the ball to half court at the end of the game. And if you start burning through your timeouts and you need to get a bucket with like 5-6 seconds left, unlike in men, in women, if you have a timeout, you can call a timeout and go to midcourt and inbound it, and just inbound just like in the NBA and get a shot off easily. So you always are trying in women's trying to save those timeouts, just like they do in the NBA. You don't really want to call a run-stopping timeout to waste a timeout. You're trying to get to the next TV timeouts. That way you have those at the end of the game to move the ball. Mm-hmm. And so that's I think that's one of the reasons she tends to not burn through those, because then if you're sitting at the end of the game like, damn it, we don't have any timeouts left. Now we got to try and go to the length of the court in 5 seconds instead of inbounding in the front court. So that's kind of the balance she's trying to strike there. The other thing is, and again, I think probably went too far that direction. The other thing is when you have a big lead, and you have a team with 5 seniors on the court, kind of like play through this. I'm not wasting timeouts because we might need them later. They should be able to figure this out before a 12-point lead becomes a 2-point lead. And frankly, they haven't. So there's shared blame there.
I want to address Canes Cats Heat's comment. I disagree with that comment. If you've watched any of the post-game press conferences, Coach Cullup and multiple players have said that there has been an emphasis to get Cam touches in the post. I think she is a very good post. She's got elite footwork. I keep saying it. My only beef is I do think there are some times where I think she could kick it out. I'm not necessarily mad at her because I think she's a very good post. I do think there are some times when she could kick it out, but everyone keeps saying there's an emphasis to get Cam touches in the post. So if that's what the coach is calling, I mean, that's what she's calling. I do got to address Nat Marshall though, because everyone knows my obsession with the stretch four. Obviously, one of my favorite stretch fours is on my wall. That 3-point shot from the top of the key to beat Virginia. To lead us to beat Virginia, because Haley Cavender drew a charge on defense that contributed to that win, as well as Nat Marshall making that 3. What a clutch 3! She had missed the other 2 other 3-pointers to start the game, and then she had hit one before that, and then she made that. Just like Cam went to post up and got blocked, hustled for the rebound, got it back out to Hannah, who quickly swung it to Nat, and Nat had no hesitation in taking that shot, and it was freaking beautiful. I love it that she kept shooting. And then kudos to Haley, man. What a great defensive play for her to take that charge to ice the game for us.
Yeah, no, so I think it's a little bit more complicated.
Just because it's you don't call her selfish for that if she's trying to make a play. I think that's the wrong word. I think there should be more of an effort for her to kick the ball out. She doesn't necessarily need to shoot it every time. But I would not call her selfish, no.
I'd be careful here. I think there is plenty, just like I said about, blowing leads, there's plenty of blame to go around here. Mm-hmm. Force feeding the ball into the post when it's not working is not necessarily a good strategy. I don't think she fits the rest of the team. I think we're undersized. We have a lot of movement, and she is not mobile. And so it tends to get stuck on her. I don't think she's the best passer either. She's much more comfortable putting a shot up than trying to rotate the ball out of a double team, for example. Not dissimilar to what we were talking about Lynn Kidd earlier, right? And so it lends itself to problems, which I don't think are a single player problem. Look, we've talked about this endlessly on the show, right? There were 2 players on the team, one of which coming off of major knee surgery. Actually 3, because Aurora was here too. Hadn't played. Yeah. But I mean, that was your roster. So you're going to get the best players available and not necessarily be able to construct a roster that fits a single style. And so we do have mismatch parts, right? You mentioned Nat hitting that 3, and she's hit several 3s this year. She hadn't made a 3-pointer in her career. She attempted 1 before the season in 4 years at Notre Dame. Yeah, well, it's a hidden gem, but it's also they're like, look, this is the roster we got. These are the talented players. We got the most talented players we could, given the constraints and the circumstances. We got to try and figure out how to get them on the floor. Nat, you got to shoot 3-pointers. And she worked at it. Full credit to her. She's become a threat from out there.
And she's been coming off the bench the last few games.
But that's also not her. That's not her game.
No.
At her optimal.
No.
So so the whole team is kind of under that constraint of, look, we got the best players we could. We cobbled a team together. We're trying to play through it. It's not necessary. Again, it was under the gun of trying to build a roster from scratch and getting the best talent.
In a shortened off season, because you had to get hired first. Try to
right.
Players we still had on the team to stay, and then hit the transfer portal to build an entire team. So, like, as much as we could talk about this isn't working, whatever. Besides some of these top tier ranked teams that we knew were going to be a problem, regardless of who was coaching this team, we've been in a lot of games, and there's just things that need to be fixed, and it, we've managed to pull out a couple of wins now. Georgia Tech's a very good team. They're ranked. We didn't get blown out by them, which is definitely an improvement from when we played like North Carolina, for instance, or when we played Louisville. So there are improvements. Coach Cullup has made adjustments, with Darion starting and Nat coming off the bench. We talked a lot about how we didn't think that Cam and Nat on the floor together was necessarily working. And so things have changed up. I really wish Abis didn't get injured. I feel like I had said this after, I forget which game it was, where I felt like she was going to be a really important piece off the bench. And she's been injured for all of conference play. And so I'm kind of sad about that. And then we were without Nat for a few games too because of concussion. And I wonder, that could have made a difference in some of these losses as well. Coach Cullup even said that after the Virginia game press conference. They're like, oh, what's changed, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, one thing is Nat's back. So I'm not going to blame our losses on that. There's a lot of other things that contributed to us losing, but we haven't had, even though we had to construct a roster from the transfer portal, we haven't even had a full roster either in conference play because we were missing a couple of post players. So although Almon did get some very valuable playing time. And some of
I was gonna comment on that.
Yeah.
I actually don't know that Abis would have done any better than Aurora has coming in here. I think she's outplayed Cam in several of those games when Nat wasn't playing there, and I'm sure that's where some of CCH's frustration is coming from. Things like that we got to go back to Cam because she's Cam. Well, not some of those games. I mean, she was not. Aurora was clearly outplaying her and still.
Yeah, but good for Aurora. She was very much a question mark coming.
She's a player.
We didn't know what to expect, and she got very little time in the non-conference. We didn't see a ton of her, so she's had a few stints where she's played.
And
really well. She's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, no, she's a player. I think Abis is really good too. I think that's a really good front court to go into next year with. I think the difference though when you lose Nat is none of those players are really going to step out and stretch the floor out. And so
Abis is undersized for
she's more of a 4.
Yeah.
But so if she was healthy, she would have played in front of Aurora, especially when Nat was injured, and she would have gotten more minutes. And I don't know that she necessarily would have played better than Aurora because I thought Aurora actually played really well in those spots, but no one's replacing Nat's ability to stretch the floor out. And if you're going to have Cam in there and another big that's going to play inside the paint, then there's just not room.
Yeah.
So that's where we really like the one big that we really, that has a unique skill set is Nats. When you lose her, even though you have 3 other on the roster, we obviously lost 2 of them because that Beast was injured as well. There's not really a way to replace that.
Yeah, someone's Nat's like talent as far as her 3-point shooting and her size is very hard to find. That's not something you're easily going to find in the transfer portal or recruiting.
No, and we don't necessarily need to. Like you said, Darion's starting there now. It's just more with the current team constructed. We have 4 bigs. Abis is obviously injured, but even if she wasn't, she's not really going to replace Nat's skill set. No. Whereas, if it was, I think the other 3 you can interchange a lot more. Nat's kind of a different element, and so when she was out, we were missing something. Still no excuse for imploding against Clemson. Also, defensively, we have these stretches where it's just. Where we seem to just lose it. And some of it's definitely the backcourt being undersized. You can always shoot over the top of it. But we tend to lose people. There are possessions where no one's really moving defensively. You get way too many easy buckets. Direct line drives to the basket for layups should not be happening.
That game against Virginia, they passed up a wide open 3 to pass it inside.
To get the charge. Yeah, I mean, they could have just shot the 3 and we might have lost that game. But also just,
And that affects our offense because when we're rolling on offense is when we're running in transition. And in order to run in transition, you got to play good defense, and because you can't run in transition off made shots. So the bad defense, when we're playing bad defense, we're not scoring either, and so it just turns into like these 10, 12-point runs for the other team.
Yeah, no, for sure, and like you said, just kind of whatever the opposite of complimentary is, because when we don't get stops, we also can't execute necessarily offensively. But
bad basketball.
But yeah, but we just get lost in rotation sometimes. I don't think our defense is very good, just generally, to be honest. And so I think that's a problem as well. I mean, look, how do I say this diplomatically? You can't let Latasha Lattimore do that. Like, what was that? Come on, man.
That's diplomatic. She's not on the team anymore. You can be.
No, but I'm not just gonna try. I mean, look, I think we wish she would have stayed, because I don't think any of us we weren't necessarily like, oh, this is the best player in the country or something. But like, I mean, we thought she was a player, but you can't let her go for 25 points, 7 boards. Come on.
She got that block on Cam, but Cam was able to get that rebound.
Yeah, no, she's blocking people. She's scoring and ones over the top of us, like ISO at the top of the key, driving past half our team and laying it in. It's like, come on, what the hell's going on here? Play some defense, and that is also, contributes to blowing leads. Like, because like you said, it seems like when we can't get stopped, it affects our offense too, and that's how you very quickly can lose like a double-digit lead. I mean, Virginia Tech, what did we not score? Was it the last 7.5 minutes we didn't make a bucket? Like that's how you blow a lead. And so that is why the team they've won 2 out of the last 3. Unfortunately, the last one was a loss. So, but they still only have the 3 conference wins. We look at the standings here, which I'll pull up, and kind of where they're sitting. Get that open. Like you said, I mean, this is a reframe of expectations before, but yep, they're sitting there at 3 and 8 in conference. So the bottom 3 don't make it. This is where, again, losing to Syracuse. They had won the Syracuse game, they're basically in. Since they lost that, Syracuse obviously has the tiebreaker, so they're sitting there 3 and 8, and then you see Clemson sitting there, and I mean, they could have left no doubt without a couple of really bad losses.
We should have had Syracuse, and we should have had Clemson.
Yep.
Stanford, which might be a very important game.
Is at Stanford, and Wake is on the schedule as well. Mm-hmm. In fact, why don't we can toggle to that, because I still think so this is what's left. So yeah, Wake and at Stanford almost feel like must wins to get to that 5-win plateau, and then you can read the rest of the teams are ranked. I still think they need to win one of those ranked games. That's at Duke, at NC State, Florida State, Notre Dame, or at Cal.
Which we'll be
Cal.
at.
We'll be at these last 2 games. Yes, we will. And so, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I think they got to win 3 more to be for sure in. 2 more might do it. But yeah, it's very possible we're sitting there at that Stanford game thinking they've really got to win this game.
Winning in.
Or losing out, more likely. So, yeah, it would be bad if they went on another huge losing streak now. Again, the next 4 games are against ranked teams. They obviously just played 1 loss, but a 7-game losing streak, win 2, lose 5, that's not a recipe for anything. And again, this is a team that's picked to finish with 8th or 9th in the ACC. So we're sitting here down there at like 14th and had played the easy part of our schedule already. That's not good. All those little we blew that, we could have done better there, that all bites in the ass in the end. A lot of losses, a lot of games you'd like back.
Yeah.
So that's why they're in this predicament. Right now they'd be in, and they'd be, I believe, not even the last team in. So there's that. But they have not stacked enough wins yet to be safe. So a lot of hoops left.
Yep, and some important ones on the West Coast at the end of this month that me and Vish will be at.
Yeah, we'll be out there for Stanford and Cal. Hopefully not the end of the season. It could potentially be, if they don't make the ACC tournament, that Cal game will be the last game. So let's hope they lock that up there.
Hopefully. All right. Anything left to discuss? No, Matt. So we don't have a final thoughts.
We don't have final thoughts, and we've had a Mount Rushmore percolating for weeks now that we've not been able to.
I haven't even finished my research on that one. Yeah, well, because we did that. I came up with a Mount Rushmore, and then I was deathly ill the next day.
She faked an illness to get out of it because she just admitted she wasn't ready for Mount Rushmore. Now it's all adding up here.
Well, no, I stopped researching it because I felt like complete garbage.
Yeah, let you see his excuses. This is how you blow leads in the fourth quarter. It's excuses like this.
It's a good Mount Rushmore, though. It's a good Mount Rushmore.
It is a good Mount Rushmore.
We'll get to it next when we have. I think
you might want to prep your trash more while we're at it because I'm looking at these schedules. It might be a while.
The Barons are in the playoffs, I think. So Matt's busy right now.
The Barons are a playoff team. But yeah, you might want to. I think he's got more time now that the freshmen finish their season. But we got You got to prep a trash more, I think, on the same topic, but negative. Because I'm looking at these schedules and might be a while before we can unload a Rushmore on this. It might be a postseason event.
Soon enough, it'll be the off season, and we got to get back to NBA grid.
I'm done with the NBA. That's not a sport I acknowledge exists, and we will not. I'm canceling NBA grid.
We have a very eclectic group on Buckets because I'm a Heat fan. Vish is a Mavs fan and Matt is a Lakers fan. So I'm actually interested to get the two of you back on the show because we might have to have an NBA segment because
I mean the Mavericks
Luka might be Matt's favorite non-Laker, and now
the Mavericks, man, the Mavericks don't exist as an entity anymore.
So is your GM worse than Jerry Jones?
Yeah, because I think the difference is Jerry Jones thinks what he is doing is correct. I still don't know what happened in Dallas, but there's no process by which you don't even look around for an offer and you just give away the best player in the NBA for garbage to a guy who you happen to be friends with. I mean, that whole thing is corrupt. He's going to end up as some kind of executive in the Lakers organization. I guarantee it. This stinks. Who trades like one of the best players in the NBA in his mid-20s without even looking for offers? Initiates the contact. Didn't come from the player. Just calls up his friend and be like, hey, you want my best player? Give me some trash. All right, let's get it done. Who does that? That's what he did. And so, yeah, no, I think eventually we're going to figure out that this was not. When he ends up joining the Lakers front office or something in a few years, you're going to know exactly what happened.
It wasn't kosher.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't. Because I think Jerry still actually, he's the only one, but I think he genuinely believes, the Schottenheimer guy, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year. I think he thinks that.
A perennial assistant coach. Yeah, this isn't a football show, but yeah, me and Vish are both Cowboys fans.
No, but I actually think he thinks.
He thinks that every year, and that's why Cowboys fans are so delusional.
Yeah, but that's different. Like, you can deal with, to me, incompetence is not as bad as corruption. And I think what we saw there was you couldn't get a second first-round pick out of them.
That popped up. That popped up. And I screenshotted it into the chat because I just got like the ESPN alert, and Matt was like, "What the fuck?" I mean, there was happy news in the NBA for me. Tyler Hero was named an All-Star. I was super excited about that, and we finally got rid of Jimmy Butler. I thank you for your time in Miami, Jimmy Butler, but it was time to go.
Well, at least the Mavericks did, go over the tax, so they lose flexibility to get Caleb fucking Martin. Like, there's something rotten going on in this.
As a Heat fan, I am a Caleb Martin fan. He's a nice bench piece.
You went over the tax threshold now, which limits significantly your flexibility to add parts to get Caleb Martin on a multi-year deal.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
No, I mean I'm done. It's over.
I'm more upset because I bought you a fucking Luka Doncic jersey, and then you haven't even gotten to wear it yet, and they traded him.
You're not more upset. Let's not get carried away.
Well, I'm upset. Are you gonna wear it, or now is this just gonna sit in your drawer?
I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do with the Mavericks. I mean, obviously I'm still a fan, but I can't watch them play now. Like, what the hell is this? I've been watching Luka since he was on Real Madrid, man. This is messed up. It would be like if the Cowboys drafted Cam Ward and like he's the MVP of the league, and then the middle next season they just I don't know who's like the worst team they could trade him
The
to.
Cowboys drafting Cam Ward, like
No, it would be the equivalent of not just drafting him, but then he turns into like the best player in the NFL, and then they trade him for like a second round pick and like Ryan Tannehill. Like, we need veteran leadership in the law or some bullshit. You're like, what are you goddamn talking about? That's what they did.
Oh my God, Tennessee, please draft Cam. I can't have him on the Giants.
It's bad enough with the Commanders and Eagles. Go Chiefs, by the way.
Yes, go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Texas Tech own Patrick Mahomes. Go Chiefs. We cannot have the Eagles winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't really give a crap about Texas Tech. I know you do, but yeah, this is an anti-Eagles segment there. So
I am half Texan / Red Raider.
So you always say you're half Texan. You're not half Texan.
Huh? I am half Texan. It's in my blood.
Texan. There's no such thing as Texan blood.
My dad was born and raised in Texas. Went to Texas Tech.
It's not a different freaking nationality.
I can't be proud of my family heritage.
Half Texan implies you're like half influenced by Texas, which you are 100% not.
Well, it could be worse. I could get influenced by my mom's side and root for the Giants or something.
I'm not talking about sports allegiances. That is not what I said. Yes, you have sports allegiances that flow out of your dad, and his family being from Texas
and being Cowboys fans. Yeah.
Yes. You have sports allegiances flowing out of that.
Yes.
When you say I'm half Texan,
I am.
That is an implication well beyond that. I will get you a cowboy hat and boots then, and you can be half Texan.
My heritage is half Texan. Does that make more sense? Because I'm Floridian.
Heritage.
Is that better? Say that I'm
when
Floridian.
people say their heritage is Texan, then it gets really uncomfortable for people like me. So let's just.
You moved to Miami when you were how old?
13.
13. So you're more Floridian too.
Oh, I don't claim I'm anything but Miamian.
But you root for a bunch of Texas teams.
Well, 1.5 at this point, or maybe 0, man. I don't.
Schottenheimer.
Between Schottenheimer and the Luka trade, maybe
Cowboys and the Mavs can each count as
maybe my last vestiges of that previous life are gone now. Like, was that it? That might have been it. Those 2 moves in succession.
I don't know. Do you want to claim the Panthers? Because then you can be like, at least I have a team that's the Stanley Cup champions.
I don't know. I mean, I said I would support them because of you. I'm not gonna lie and say I'm gonna watch hockey. So. What's happening over here? Oh, this.
I had it resting on my Sebastian Funko Pop thing.
Well, it's 2025 now, so.
I know, but they haven't had the next Stanley Cup playoffs yet, so they're still the reigning champions until someone else is crowned.
I get my championships from Real Madrid. I'm fine. I don't need to adopt those ones.
I'm a Real Madrid fan now.
Yeah, I know.
I have to wear my jersey on the show one of these days.
That one I can still wear.
Yes.
That one I can still wear.
Good thing I got you too, because that would have been sad.
I have other Luka merch too.
You think Dick's Sporting Goods would let me return that jersey for you? I can get you an Anthony Davis one.
Oh my God, I swear to God. I'm about to ban you from the show.
I won't get you a Kyrie Irving one, I refuse. I'm sorry.
You think I don't want to wear anything. I'm disgusted with this franchise right now. I don't like. I hope they miss the playoffs. I don't want to watch them play. Fuck them.
I'm a happier Heat fan now.
Yeah, I don't want to watch this team play.
I'm
out
on them. On your side until you became a little, you know what, and now I'm glad you're gone.
Glenn actually asked me if I wanted to go to Dallas next week to watch Heat Mavs.
I hope there's a Cowboys game the weekend we're there for the SMU game. That would be amazing.
We'll see when the schedule comes out.
Yes. Oh, now that we're talking football on the basketball show, hopefully people watching this are going to go to the FSU game next season. Me and Vish will be there. We already booked everything besides game tickets, obviously. But
yeah, there's that one, and then
SMU.
And
8 home games. We could easily be at 10 Canes games.
Well, this is where I'm wondering, do I?
Plus the ACC championship, plus a possible playoff game.
I'm wondering if I try to hit for the home run here. I know you won't. But
travel for all of them? Well, no, it's hard for me because I work weekends.
But it's also, I know Thanksgiving weekend you wouldn't do it, but I might.
My mom would kill me. If you want to feel the wrath of Debbie.
Did you hear me say, I know you're not coming? I'm not invited. Don't put that on me. If you unilaterally decide you want to come, you own that decision.
You know we're still on air and we're talking about this.
I don't care.
This is the usual tangent that happens at the beginning of the show that's happening at the end of the show tonight, where nobody's even watching anymore.
I mean, we went up against 5 on the floor the night the Heat won and trade Jimmy Butler. I don't think we were going to get viewers, but as monumental as actually it's the Heat doing a trade at the deadline comes along more often than our Hurricanes win these years, but still.
Oh, you know what's hilarious? They announced the list of like the names for Hurricanes this hurricane season for the summer, and both my first and middle name were both on the list.
That's at least they're finally getting accurate here.
There might be a Hurricane Melissa that hits Florida. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, that's about right.
Oh, you just went blurry again.
I did. This is very frustrating. I don't.
All right.
I gotta get another camera, man. This isn't in my setup.
Are we gonna do a show this weekend? I don't even know. Not Sunday, obviously.
I'm assuming not, because Saturday I'm flying back to DC Saturday night, right. And we got Canes on deck in the morning. So the
next buckets will be next week.
Next week, we will announce a time.
Yes.
We might be able to get Matt because of freshman
all three of us may end up on a show for the first time in a month.
Yes, that is the hope.
Sad times.
Hey, one of us shows up and plays. I'm the Matthew Cleveland of the show. I'm showing up and playing, man. I don't know what the hell you two guys are doing, but I'm showing up and playing.
Who am I then? Nigel Pack? No, I came back.
No, you came back. Oh man.
Nat Marshall. I was out for a few, but now I'm back.
That'll work. Then we gotta come up with something for Matt.
Just call him Darion. He's a bucket.
He is definitely Darion definitely plays the way Matt plays, so that does work.
I will gladly be the stretch 4, even though I'm the shortest one of the 3.
I don't know. I show up and play every game.
Well, you're also the only one that can produce a show, so.
I mean, if it actually came.
You and Matt can't actually have a show without you because you're the only one with producing.
I mean, it's technically possible. There's other people on the network that can host the show if we need to do it.
I don't know any of them though.
If you said we need to do a show and I'm not available, I would get someone.
Oh. Okay, that works. All right.
Or I would throw up into a trash can backstage while you're interviewing Julian.
That was a great 15 minutes of just nonsense. Also, Tyler Hero is an all-star, so take that, Matt.
I'm ready for CCH. I'm ready for baseball, man. Basketball's dead to me. As an institution.
We need milkshakes.
Go Canes.
And let me cue this better than Vish because he said it sounded weird cueing it by himself.
Well, I'm cueing it and pressing it. It doesn't work the same way.
Cue the Sox outro. Don't cry. Keep it chill. Wear good socks.